Cleaning Nation, this episode is taken from some coaching calls that Mike did with our clients that we thought would bring tons of value to you. We hope you enjoy. And now on to the show.
Jessica, I am dying to hear your celebration, sister. I suppose I'll give you some coaching, but I see your celebration. You didn't include, I like your celebration that you put. I want to hear about it, but also you've been, I don't know if we already celebrated getting your big clients, and I just wanted to I'll celebrate it twice. I don't give a crap. I'm just so excited for you.
Well, we did. We started them yesterday.
Beautiful.
The new client. And so that actually is a celebration because it's the second time I've done a house that was 4,000 square feet. This is 4,500 square feet. The first time I did it, I didn't budget enough time and the expectations weren't good between me and the client. And I felt like I just failed miserably. And that relationship was mended. Like, she contacted me and wanted me to clean again, but she gave me her expectations. And I said, my team isn't there yet with the production. I can't deep clean that sort of a house in 10 hours. And so we respectfully just parted as friends. And I felt like really good about that we, that it was okay. She wasn't mad at me. But yesterday we got it done, and I bid it high enough that I allow, I think 8 man hours. And it was more yesterday because it was a first time clean, but I'm not worried about that, but just super excited to kind of get, you have to get over that little wall of like, when you fail at something, like, am I going to fail again? And so the night before I didn't sleep very well because I was just like so concerned about being able to do this clean, but it's really going to go well. And I'm excited to work for these people. They're great people. And I'm just thankful.
It makes a big difference. Yes. Okay, perfect. And for everybody, I think we talked about this on the sales call. I know Jackson did a podcast yesterday. I think we talked about this on the sales training yesterday. Setting expectations is such a big deal, right? You can do, and most of the time, and we, with our doctor frame, have to set the expectations and not let them do it, because they will almost always default to some version of, I want the best cleaning for the least money. But that's not really what they want. What they really want is to feel good when they come home. And here, I'll give you guys a perfect example. Actually, with the Millionaire Masterminds, we were at Mastro's, which is a super nice restaurant. Go there all the time. And one of my sweet Millionaire Masterminds was like, you got to check the bill. We started checking the bill, not here, but just at restaurants. And like 90% of the time, they charge you for crap that you didn't order. I'm like, well, I can't have that. I don't want that. So I checked the bill. And I've been to this same restaurant. It's a very nice restaurant. Best, if you ever guys have a Mastro's in your state, it is best steak I've had. So it's nice and expensive. The service is great. Everything's great. I've always loved it. And I checked it, and by golly, they charged us 2 Cokes, I don't know, 10, 20, whatever it was, off of a couple hundred. It was not a big, it was money in the charges. And I was so frustrated. And then I started checking the bill for other places. And I'll tell you guys, he was right. People charge you all the time for stuff you don't get. And then I realized I was ruining my dining experience every time. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'll just stop. I'm not coming to make myself crazy and get angry. And I didn't go back to that Mastro's for like a year. And I love Mastro's. So I stopped checking the goddamn bill. And I'm sure I pay 6 to 11.5% more for all of my crap than maybe you smart people would if you just looked at the goddamn bill. But I realized my expectations I was setting for myself is, I don't want to get scammed and I'm going to get pissed. And I'm like, why would I set that expectation to go out to dinner? And I'm not saying this is good. Please don't hear this as financial advice. But the point being, when I set the expectations of, I'm going to find something wrong, I found it and I made myself miserable. And I was able to, on my own, over time, go, the whole point of this is to enjoy my night out. I'm not going to make myself miserable. I could either just not come, and that'll teach them a lesson, but then I'm miserable. Or I could fuss every time at the bill, which is wrong. They're not right to overcharge me. Or I could just enjoy my night. And if the tax for my happiness was $16 in drinks that I didn't order, be that as it may. So the same thing goes with our people. They think they want the correct bill, and obviously don't screw your people, charge them what you agree. But they think they want most clean for least money. And the problem is, when you set them up for that, they're going to go looking at the bill, looking at your cleaning, trying to find where you screwed up, and they'll find it, right? There'll be a thing where it's like, rah, 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 and then they're just going to make themselves miserable. But if Masters just set the expectation and say the bill is going to be $169, like, it's $200, you're going to have a great time. I'm like, great, here's the $200, I want to have my great time. But when they set the expectation, when I set the expectation that they shouldn't screw me, which they shouldn't, and I should be angry or ruin my night, and maybe the people's with me night, because now I'm angry, I'm setting myself up for failure. So don't set your people up for failure by we're the best clean and you want this. And like, I want a deep clean. And we get into the whole deep clean verbiage and go, listen, Jessica, here's what we do. When you come home, you're going to feel amazing. The place is going to look good and smell good. It's not going to be perfect. Other people will tell you they can do perfect. They'll be really expensive and they're lying to you. If you look hard enough at anybody's cleaning, mine included, you'll find a mistake. And if that's your goal, you're just going to make yourself miserable and you're going to make me miserable. And why would you pay me to make both of us miserable? If your goal is to come home and feel good and loved and safe, and you're not coming home from work to work, but coming home to a respite and a spa that is almost always beautiful and nice and smells good and feels good, with every now and again something gets missed, you're going to love having us here. So when part of the sales process is giving them the value of what to expect. Like, again, had Mastro sold me on, it's just $200, enjoy your meal, order whatever you want, up to, you can't order whatever, however that worked. They would have set the expectations. They would have made more money and I would have been happier. But yeah, so for everybody, I think people underestimate how important setting the expectations is. And if I told you guys, hopefully you guys are really happy and think we take great care of you and love and appreciate the service we provide. But had we started, I go, I will come into your house. I will move in with you. I'll sleep right between you and your husband. I'll hold your hands all night. When you wake up, the first thing we'll do is like, and then you got this, you'd be like, this guy's full of shit. He hasn't flown out here once. I'm miserable. Even though you're hopefully getting a great experience. Like, I love this. Had I sold it properly or set expectations improperly, you guys would be miserable. So really, and the way you can supercharge that is, if you know you're going to do A, B, and C, only tell them you're going to do A and B. Like, if you guys notice, we're constantly doing extra stuff. We're like, it's included. It's included. A, it's just because we're innovating, but B, I like you always feeling like, what's going to be next? This is so exciting. So if you promise if you know you're going to do A, B, C, and D, only tell them about A, B, and C. And then when D comes, because it works both ways, right? If if Mastros would have, instead of charging you for something we didn't do, if they're like, we have such good margins, we're just not going to charge, like, I don't know if you guys have it. There's Dutch Bros Coffee out here. It's big with the high schoolers, love working there. They all get a certain amount they can just give people every day. Like, just, it's for free. So if Masters did the opposite and I looked at hey, we did Cokes. Oh yeah, you're a great customer. It's our gift to you. Don't worry about it. Now my experience would have been awesome. And if they knew they were going to do that, but I didn't know they were going to do it. So you see how it's the exact same experience. It's just how they set the stage. So for all of you guys and gals, that's one of the big reasons being in person to sell is so important, because you can't set that stage online, right? It's just, they get what they get. You can't really bring in any value over. We'll do some amount of cleaning, which we can't really articulate what you need or if it matches for some amount of money, setting yourself up for failure. But when you go out there and you can help in the sales process, educate them and teach them how to be happy, that's super valuable whether they buy it from you or not. So there you go. Rant over. Thanks for putting up with me. I just know very few of you, other than Don, I don't know if anyone was on the sales call. I'm like, I don't want you guys to miss that because it was really important. All right, Jessica has a couple of questions. One, what's the best way to record policies? I don't know why it's in quotes. First of all, don't put quotes around. It makes them sound like they're fake. So the policies, like, wait, what does that mean? So step one, remove the quotes. So, the policy we have around here, Jessica, you're like, no, I don't. What are we talking about? I don't know why that's so funny to me, but that delights me. Without having a handbook, for example, expectations like dress code, or is an employee handbook recommended? So such a great question. So let me give you the foundational answer that's going to cover 90% of it, and you won't feel like I'm answering your question. And then I'll give you the direct answer that will only work if the foundation is laid. Our entire employee handbook, promise I won't drink before next call. I promise. But not at the event. I'm going to get no. Our employee handbook is 8 pages. Have fun, make money, be real, and help out. So if Luke is dressed in a way I feel is inappropriate, or the customer feels inappropriate, I'm going to walk through, hey, dude, how do you think, let's just walk through the core values. And I always connect first. You're still here for the core values, right? You can make more money anywhere. You're here because you want to be a part of this thing. Yeah, I want to be a part of this thing. Cool. Well, you know what it takes to be a part of this or create this, because you're part of it with us, is to have fun. And man, you're wearing shorts and flip-flops. I got to be honest, that looks like a lot of fun. Like, I'm sitting here with, long pants and shoes like an idiot. Make money. What do you think? Do you think the company if we're commercial, the clients we're working for will make more money in flip-flops or in more commercial? Well, Luke's going to probably go, well, I think maybe dressed a little differently. What about be real? Like, what do you think? I guess this is real and that this is what we want to do, but it's also real that we told the people that they're going to feel comfortable with the people coming to their home. What do you think? What do you think is the most helpful? Do you think you'll be more helpful in flip-flops or shorts? Or so I'm just going to walk them through the core values. And I've never had at the events, you guys have seen what our people wear. Never had not one conversation about, okay, the clients are going to be here. Y'all got to wear whatever. Because they all share my core values and they're not going to do anything like just picturing like Lindsay showing up in a tube top and like shorty shorts. I'm like, oh boy, I just couldn't imagine. Or me. So the foundation is always core values. Those are my entire handbook. So once you have that foundation, what I'm going to tell you will help a little bit, not a big deal. If you don't have that foundation, you can have everything perfectly documented and it's not going to do any good because people are people. Mike Campion here. Do you ever listen to the podcast and go, this is great information. I just wish I could actually get it implemented. And I wish I could get some help. Well, we do that. If you would like either myself or my team's help actually coming up with a plan that's specialized to you and your business, because with these podcasts, obviously we have to be very general and we can only go 20 minutes at a time. If you'd like to jump on a call with myself or my team, go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. We'll jump on a call. There's no charge. And we'll help you get some absolute clarity around exactly what to do next and how to do it. The reason we don't charge for these calls is the plan that we come up with, people want help implementing that. If that's the case, we're happy to talk about it. And if it's not, that's okay too. We're happy to just help you come up with a plan. So if you want to translate the information you're learning here into an actual plan that can change your life, give us a ring, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Love to either myself or have one of our coaches walk you through and actually personalize the content you get here to where you're at with your business. Talk soon. So I am not a fan of employee handbooks. I found they take a lot of time and money, and people will sign them if you require them to, but they won't read them. If they read them, they won't remember them. If they do remember them, they're still going to default to their values or how they make decisions, and they're just going to do what they want to do. So I could have put the rules of the house, and we all keep our rooms clean, and we don't leave Legos on the ground, and we don't urinate all over the bathroom. We put it all in the toilet. And I could have my son sign it with blood, and it wouldn't make a goddamn difference. He's 8. He's going to do what he's going to do. And we'd have to coach him a little differently. But he could sign it. And when I found pee on the sink somehow, went, hey boy, remember you signed this thing? He's not going to be like, you're right, Dad. Let me clean that up for you, old man. Like, it's just, that's not who he is. We got to work on the values before the thing itself will help. So to answer your question, the way I do it, although I don't put a lot of, and Lindsay can answer, like, because she documents most of the stuff that we do. I like videos and I like short. So when we do the job descriptions we provide for you, 1 page. So I found if you give anybody a 37-page document, it's too much. But if you give them 12 one-page documents, like go to this for this, this for this, this for this, it works out better. So when you say, we talked about dress code. Were there any other specific things your people are not doing that you want them to do or doing that you'd like them to stop?
So that's part of my next question. I just want to make sure that my expectations are, so I have one Dylan employee right now, and she shows up late every single clean. And I just, and that's another one of my questions. Okay. So, be kind, be positive. I'm missing one. Work hard is the last one that I wanted you to ask you about.
So there's the biggest problem. Have fun, make money, be real, help out. Like, you've got to own them. So to think that Luke is going to follow your core values when you don't even know them, 0 chances. So one of two things is going to happen. You're not even talking about core values, or they didn't even think they're there for a culture, or they think you're full of crap. Right? Because they're core values, core values, core values. Well, what core values are they, Jessica? Have fun, make money, be real, help out. Like, you've got to just own them. And if you ask our team, and please do, like, just in a regular conversation, how many minutes would you have to go through? How many conversations would you have to go through before Mike brought up a core value at some point? They'd be like, I don't know, 12 and a half minutes, like 6 conversations, 3 conversations. And yeah, so that's the foundational problem, is if they don't know the core values, you don't know the core values, you can't, and there's no agreement that this is why we're all here, then it's command and control, which is very difficult when they're in a different city. So that said, let's assume you only had 3 and we'll need the 4th. Hey, Jessica, when you show up late, do you feel that that's a very kind thing to do to the client, to me, to your partner? Obviously not. Be positive. You think it's a very positive thing? Do you think the client, your partner, me, feels positive about the situation when you're late? Of course not. Working hard, do you think being late is working hard or being on time is working hard? If you're working hard, you'd probably be there early and already been started. So, I mean, it's just a slam dunk with the core values. But the foundational problem is if you haven't agreed on those core values, like if my son and I never talk about God or the Bible, and then when he's 17, I'm like, Bible says honor your mother and father, honor me, boy. He's like, shut up, old man. But if that's been something we've woven throughout our conversations and what we believe, and he sees me living the Bible in other parts of my life, when I try to apply it to him in this certain circumstance, he's like, Dad's not perfect, but that's who he is. And I can at least, I can agree or disagree, but at least this is really the culture that he's set. But I can't just pull out one thing I like at one point with never referencing it ever again, because he's gonna be like, hypocrite. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Okay. So the whole foundational issue is core values. And are you doing your weekly meetings?
We haven't in a couple of weeks, and part of that's just been for practical reasons, because it's challenging to get together with her, to be honest with you. But
yeah, all of business is challenging. Like, I get it. I'm not saying it's all easy, but it's having had core values based companies, and before I learned this, non-core values based companies, it is a lot more challenging to try and manage everybody, do everything all the time, than to just have those checkpoints. So the weekly meeting is where you've got your base opportunity to go through those. Like, hey, what have you seen me or you or any client exhibiting our core values, and where have we dropped the ball?
Yeah. Okay. So we were having them every week, and I would go over the core values pretty much weekly.
We'll let them go over it. So there's a difference between you going over it and them going over it. So what have you seen? Talk to me. What core values do you feel like we're doing well at? We'll let them, you kind of set the stage and let them do the talk.
Okay. Yeah. But a team meeting isn't the place to talk about like a violation of core values. Is that right? Like, that'd be a private conversation.
Depends on how many people are there and how bad of a violation it is. So if the culture of the community. So if we're at the event, and I use that just because that would be our closest proximity or facsimile to a live meeting, and Luke's dressed silly, I might pick at him and give him a little hard time and be like, come on, Luke, what are you doing? And as long as I felt like he didn't feel abused or hurt and no one thought I was picking on him, that would be totally appropriate. But if he was just being belligerent and rude and whatever, I'm definitely take that offline. So as long as everybody feels loved and safe, I'm okay talking about people dropping the non-core values. I like to do it with me first, right? If I can be like, hey, look at me dropping the ball here, and then I mentioned something small about Claire, not ideal, but I'm okay with it. So yeah, if it's a real negative thing, I'm gonna do that offline. But I could still, if it's about Luke because he's the one dressing badly or whatever, I could still bring up how we all dress. I don't have to call Luke's name.
Okay. Yeah. And I love that, what you said about having them bring up the core values. So that's what I hadn't really honed in on my meetings. Like, I did a lot of talking, and I ask questions, but I have a hard time when people sit there and don't talk when I ask a question, if that makes sense, to ask another question, to try to draw people out. It's just something that I need to work on. But
then I would just
thanks for bringing that up.
So like if I go, hey, Jessica, you be the silent employee that won't, I feel like I would draw stuff up. Hey, Jessica, how do you feel the week's been going? You been seeing anyone kicking ass or not living out the core values?
It's going okay.
Yeah. Tell me more.
Yeah, we're doing all right. We're getting our cleans done.
Cool. When you say all right, like I appreciate the cleans. We can talk about that, but I'm interested in you. How, like, when you say you're doing all right, what does that mean? You need a hug? How you doing, girl? I'm here for you. And that's who you are.
Yeah.
You're like a very caring, interested person. Just give yourself permission to be like, I would just want to know how you are, Jessica. Like, everything okay?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think people in your life want to talk to you. So I think everyone not in your work life comes to you for that like emotional like base. You just have to be okay with it in work and be like, yeah, that's okay. I'm here for you. Like, how you clean houses and how's your life? Like, I want to support you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Cool. Big thing is get your core values down. it will become natural that you talk about them all the time. Like I don't ever go on a meeting in Jen and be like, I got to hit the core values today. It just comes up naturally. But at first you will have to be like, every week we're going to bring them up, or every, so you have to give yourself guidelines. And then once you build that muscle, you won't have to force yourself, so to speak.
Okay.
Cool. And then last thing, one of my core values is work hard, but can I adjust it to do what it takes or do what is required? It's your value. Tell me which one resonates the most with what you feel about life in your personal life, regardless of this business.
Yeah, the do what it takes. So work hard was the words that I gave to it, but the meaning behind it, as I've been working and as I've been interacting with team members and just in going about life, that do what it takes is more what I mean by that. It's not just work hard, but do whatever is required to, even go beyond your best if you have to.
I think do what it takes is much more specific than work hard.
Okay.
So if it resonates more so with you, because it's more specific, it could be getting further away from what you really believe. You're like, no, it's getting closer. Then I think that's excellent.
Okay.
Cool. Love it. I think that's great. Big thing is make sure to just use them all the time and let people call you out. Hey, if you ever see me not being kind, being positive, or doing what it takes, let me know. Like, I want to make sure I'm living this just the same as you. And if you see each other doing what it takes, being kind and being positive, let me know as well. Like, I really, this is important to me. And then you just do the best you can, catching people doing things right. And again, the weekly meetings are the backstop to make sure at least once a week you do it on purpose. But you'll get used to just shooting someone a text. Hey, John, I saw, you were with Claire and she's having a tough day. And I saw you just were extra sweet to her. I love that. Thanks for being so kind, man. Appreciate you, brother. Like, that's all. 2 minutes or a quick call. Easy peasy.
Perfect. Thank you.
Cool. And then when I do, if and when I do have to have a conversation with John, that's not quite as fun. If he's gotten 3 or 4 of those positive encouragements prior, when I do have to go to him sometimes, so I was like, no, I don't want to hear any of it. He's typically much more open to hearing both sides, because he knows I got his back and I care about him. If I'm just always telling him how he's missing, he's going to be like, I don't want to play this game anymore because I never win. But if he's almost always winning, and I have some feedback that, maybe there's some room for opportunity, he's like, oh, Mike just wants me to win. Like, I can hear that. Feel good?
Yep. Thank you.
All right. You did great. I spent more time than maybe you wanted, but I think that was super helpful for everybody. So that wasn't just for my friend Jessica, that was for the group. Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It'd mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.